What's been the opportunity from your experience and your pain? For anyone that doesn't know, what do you do and why do you do it?
I think there's two reasons why I do what I do in the world. One, and it sort of came to this revelation maybe 2-3 years ago, maybe not that long ago. Yeah, about 2-3 years ago probably. And one of the reasons why I do what I do in the world is because it came very strongly from shadow, and I'll explain that in a moment. So two core reasons. One, because when I was younger, I grew up in a very violent, volatile environment, just a lot of uncertainty from parents, from my father particularly, and my mother as well. There was enmeshment there, and there was a challenging relationship with my family dynamic, including wanting to, I'm half Greek, half Italian, grew up in Greece, then grew up in Australia, being pulled from my family, maternal grandparents in Australia, all of my father's family in Greece. That was very difficult for me as well. It was just belongingness was I didn't know where I belonged, right? And so at a young age, I remember seeing something on TV. I was watching with my grandparents in Australia, and it was something to do with the UN. And at that time, my perception was, the UN is such an amazing organization, a load of shit. But it was such an amazing organization. They're helping all these people in sub-Saharan Africa and in all these developing nations, and they're doing, I want to do that. I want to help people. And really, that need to help people came from just having a very disruptive, volatile environment, like living in that uncertainty. And we often do that. We teach what we need to learn the most. We're attracted to, we have this perception and belief that if we help others, most therapists, most coaches, including myself, we get into this work because if we help others, we're helping ourselves. We believe that. And to an extent, that's true, but you've got to do your own personal work. You can't do it through osmosis or others, right? Only get you so far. So there was that side of things. It was very genuine for me, right? As I grew up, I realized what the UN was, at least from my perception. I have an opinion about it or opinions about it, but I still had this determination to help people. And I just found like I was, quote unquote, good at it. People would come to me, my friends would come to me for support and help. And I positioned myself that way, and that helped me feel important. Now, let me go to the second reason, no particular order, that I felt important and I felt needed, right? I felt validated because I was doing that for my mother. So I was my mother's support system. I was her emotional support system because she didn't have that with my father, right? And so I was her savior. So I wanted to be the hero. And that really that came from a shadow place. So it came from a healthy place. I genuinely wanted to help people, but also came from a place of shadow, meaning that it came from a compensation. It came from, well, if I help this person or help my mother, I'm important, I matter. Because it was drilled into me that I didn't matter. And I made it mean in my life through my own nervous system and my own meaning making that I didn't matter. So I'll help enough people, I'll compromise my own needs. That only got me so far because eventually I have needs and I want them and they'd come out in, intense ways. But I'll suppress my needs and I'll maximize the needs of others. Then I'll be important. I'll be important to them. I'll secure my relationship. I'll secure my value in their life. And then I'm a value and, I feel okay now, right? So you ask that question, I have to be honest, right? That's and look, is there a part of me that still lives from that place now? Surely, right? But it's far lessened, and when it comes up, I notice it and I interact with it in a very different way. Without judgment, I'll do my best. Without judgment, I meet it with love. I look at what's missing in my life, that this part of me is coming up now in that way. Oh, cool. Me and my wife are not in a great place, so I don't have the significance that I would normally have with her, or me and my daughter are distant, so I don't have the significance there, so I'm looking for it elsewhere. But look at the insidious ways in which I'm looking for it. Let me just check that. Not to say I'm going to stop that because I hate myself and I hate that behavior, but I just want it to come from a more whole place within myself. And then when I do that, guess what happens? The distance closes between my wife and I, or my daughter and I, as an example, right?